Dave Underwood, State of the U, breaking down Miami taking on Virginia. It's a noon game, national television, noon Eastern time against the 6-4 Cavaliers, who are bowl bound. But Miami ACC championship game bound, and I will not prolong the conversation here, Cam. I think we've come to a good place, but I will say that I totally respect you putting Miami in the position to needing to win the ACC championship game. That's the way, in a sense, it should be. But if Miami lost a close game against Clemson, I could certainly make an easy argument. It, of course, is not played within a silo. There are other things happening around the country that change the narrative and the comparisons. But under basic conditions, what we generally expect to have happen in other conferences, I could make the case for Miami as a one-loss team that lost to what would be the number 2 team in the country, at least by a close margin, that they would deserve a look at the college football playoff Final Four.
I hear you, and I hope that that's true, but life is not about deserve, and life is not fair, and I honestly don't think that that's going to happen. I think that this committee is looking for every reason why Miami should be lower as a ranking, why they should be left out or anything like that. If you're talking about this week even, where you're talking about all these things with Clemson and, okay, well, they have this many top 50 wins and they did this and, you know, okay, you love their win at Auburn, who started badly, and you're talking about, hey, maybe the coaching staff might need change and the head coach might be on the hot seat and then things like that. But you're doing all these things and having all these conversations and ignoring the fact that Clemson lost to an objectively bad Syracuse team. It's to the point where I said that, and our friend John Casillo from the SB Nation blog with the longest name ever, Troy Nunes, is an absolute magician. He even said, yeah, you kind of have to say that when you're talking about Clemson this year. And it's funny because all these points of conversation of the contrarian nature that I was talking about last week came to fruition. You're talking about everything with Clemson except for the fact that they lost. You talk about Alabama, hey, they won a close game, so you know that shows championship pedigree. Miami won close games, and you're talking about the opposite. And Pick Six Previews on Twitter, I think that is their full handle, they put up a blind resume comparison. And the comparison that it should be right now is Miami and Alabama. That's what it should be for 1 and 2. It should not be Clemson. It should, I'm sorry. At current, they lost a game to a bad team. That's it. You talk about, okay, if Miami beats Virginia Tech and Notre Dame, and maybe convincingly, then we'll reevaluate that. Beat both of them convincingly. Now the conversation is flipped to, well, we'll see if Miami is able to get up when it's not a primetime game or they don't have all this blah, blah, blah. So you see in the space of 2 weeks how the goalposts have moved, how the point of conversation has shifted. And if you spin that forward, I really honestly believe if given the chance to keep Miami out of the playoff, they're going to do that. And it's shades of 2000 in the BCS all over again, where we beat Florida State, lost to Washington, and then, well, lost to Washington and then beat Florida State in that order. But Florida State made it to the BCS championship game, and Miami didn't. And that was the head-to-head comparison. Now, I know some people are saying, hey, what about Washington? And they could have been in that conversation. True, I'm going to give you that. But the conversation that was had and was publicized as being had was Miami and Florida State, but then you ignore the head-to-head. It's going to be one of those things. And I honestly, truly, and I want to be wrong. I really honestly do want to be wrong. But I see if Miami loses a game at all before the end of this calendar year, they're going to be, or before, you know, Christmas, because, you know, they're bowl games then. But if you lose a game before Christmas, that's this week to Virginia, next week at Pittsburgh on Black Friday, noon, Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, or December 2nd in the ACC championship game, I don't think Miami's going to get into the playoffs. And I mean, that's just a closely held belief that I have. And I'll believe that I was wrong on that if we lose and then Miami does get in the playoffs. I just don't think that that's going to happen. And I hope that I'm wrong, but we'll see.
So the SEC winner's going to get in, the ACC winner's going to get in, and then the rest of it's up in the air. Let's say Oklahoma runs the table. They've got 1 loss. They're in. Okay, the Big Ten could have a 2-loss winner if Wisconsin loses the championship game. So I'm not saying that I would definitely say Miami should get in, because I am very much of the thought that these teams play in so much of a silo and don't cross don't play enough cross-sectional games for us to make like comparisons that I like to see 4 conference champions make the field and think it's a travesty that we have one conference champion missing the field. But I'm just saying, if I just looked at resume, if Clemson barely beats Miami, that Miami could easily say we have as good a resume as that conference champion or that conference champion. Not that I would pull the trigger and put them in, because that would be difficult to do, because I understand the dynamics of the situation, in a conference championship in my mind should count for something big.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree with you. But you know, Miami, if Miami were to lose a game, a singular game, before or then, even if it is the conference championship game, then Miami will be making that argument while playing in the Orange Bowl and watching other teams playing in the college football playoff. And, you know, like I said, I could see that. But, yeah, I mean, you're talking about having 2 lost teams jump up. CBS Sports even projected that there could be two lost teams, and one of them not being a conference champion, that make it into the college football playoff. So, you know, you're starting to see some things go around with that. So, yeah, I really just see, unless Miami's undefeated, we're going to be on the outside looking in. So, just like it said in the movie Major League, I guess that just means we're going to have to go win the whole damn thing.
That's it.
That's it.
Miami, Clemson in a few weeks, but before that, there's work to do against Virginia first off, and then a trip to Pitt. Cam Underwood, State of the U. We try to do this just about every week, talking Miami football, so this is the place to catch us here on YouTube at Mark Rogers TV, but most specifically Miami fans, you got to catch Cam on State of the U. So you take it from here, Cam, and send us out, because you do the best pitch possible.
Yeah, I mean, the work speaks for itself, really. So stateoftheu.com, facebook.com/thestateoftheu. Also follow me on Twitter at thestateoftheu or at Underwood Sports is my personal account. Basketball season is getting underway, so we have basketball content. Baseball team just put up their schedule for 2018 today, so I posted about that, and front to back, wall-to-wall coverage about the football team, because in case you missed the conversation, mine is 9-0 and hopefully headed to the college football playoff. And regardless of the results, we're going to be there for you. So check us out at stateoftheu.com, and we'll see you.